Doc, welcome to the mother of all talk shows. I'm a big admirer of yours. We'll talk about your music and so on later, but let's start with the deadly serious stuff. Where do you think the Palestinians are now that nobody's coming to their aid? The Israeli government has made it clear that whatever any court says, whatever any politician says, they're going to continue the slaughter. Where does that leave a people that have been besieged and bloodied for so very long?
Yeah, George, thank you. I'm, by the way, very honored to be on your show. I'm a big fan. I watch twice a week, so it's quite a thing to suddenly be on.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is, of course, a very good question, a very important one, too, because it relates to the effect of that huge surprise that happened on the 7th of October. All these decades, 75 years, it's true that we had our own PLO, we had our own resistance factions. There were several attempts by Palestinians with the diversity of ideologies involved to mount resistance against Israel. But somewhere in the back of everybody's mind, not just the Palestinians themselves, there was always that idea that we need others. We need the Arab world, we need the Muslim world behind us. There was a long time when we were looking in the direction of the Soviet Union for some kind of support, moral support, political support, all that kind of thing. And the special thing about 7th of October is that it is 100% purely Palestinian initiative of resistance, which has shocked the world not only because of its power. It was a very powerful attack, but also because it has shown that when Palestinians do something by themselves, it actually has, gives like almost the kind of like an avalanche effect in the world. And ever since 7th of October until now, it's not only Palestine which has been kept busy with the situation, and for the Palestinians themselves in the most awful way imaginable, but the rest of the world is also in a kind of a panic, and it's pushing the tectonic plates of global politics into frictions with each other, which could explode or ignite things, smaller things, bigger things. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. And that is a very tense situation, which might have effects which reach everyone on the globe. Okay.
Hello, Doc. How is that now? Can you hear me?
Do you hear me?
No,
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
You can hear me? Okay.
I heard almost all of your...
Did you get my question? Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I heard almost all of your... Yeah, no, I guess that's the only part that I didn't get. I only didn't get your question, but I did get the rest of what you said, most of it. So what was your question towards the end? It was about the two-state solution?
Yeah. How does it make you feel now when you hear coming from the presidencies and chancelleries of Europe, North America, people raising the issue of the two-state solution, about which they've done nothing to impose since it was signed on the White House lawn?
Yes, yeah. Well, first of all, I was never pro the two-state solution. So for me, this has been a very difficult time all the time, because I was not happy with what was going on. And the reason for that is that I don't believe that powers voluntarily surrender power, not even a little bit. Powers just don't do that, not in the way that I read history. When you have a situation where you want something from the other one who has control over everything, you have to have a means to exert power onto that other force in order for that other force to surrender something. And because I didn't think that we as Palestinians had that, and we might have had that if we had, like, for instance, superpowers backing us, I really didn't see it happening. So there was not really even 1 minute or one day that I thought that this would be a viable idea. Also, I have been reading about Zionism all my life, and I know their quotes, I know their theories, I know that the Jabotinsky brand of Zionism has been in power now for a very, very long time and has actually changed, or if there ever was any milder form of Zionism, which I actually doubt as well, then that is in the past now. It's purely Jabotinsky style, which is Netanyahu, and now even mixed with the with the religious version of Zionism. It means that you have an adversary, an enemy, who simply wants it all. So for me, this is a part. Like I said, I was very surprised about the 7th of October. It took me by surprise, and I think everyone. But I am not surprised by anything which has happened after that. Even now, Netanyahu rejecting the two-state solution and saying that there will never be one. And the reason for not being surprised about that is because he said it many times before. And I don't know why, when he says that, people still give credence to other things that are happening. And if you look at Israeli politics closely, which I do, then there aren't really things on that level which are surprising. Settlement expansion has always continued. Has it ever stopped? Was it ever halted? Was it ever paused? Land grabs, did they ever stop? They never did. All the things which are moving towards complete domination of what Netanyahu calls the land west of the Jordan, all of that was happening. So this, from my side, the way I see it, that's just an extrapolation of what was already going on. So how does it make me feel? The same way it has been making me feel for the little over 5 decades that I've been alive now. Very angry, very determined also, and we just still have a long struggle ahead. And you know us, you know the Palestinians, we never give up.
No, well, that's definitely true. Do you think the net effect on international support for Palestine, opposition to Israel, has changed the game in any way? I mean, when I started in the Palestine cause, you could have fitted all the supporters of the PLO, like me, into a very small, maybe not a small room, but a small club. But now, everywhere in Britain and everywhere, that support has bloomed, has really expanded dramatically to many millions everywhere, in the Netherlands, in France, Germany, Britain, USA, Canada, everywhere in the Western world. There are millions of supporters of the Palestinian people. Can that change the game?
It could, if those were true democracies, but as I think you probably agree with me, they're not pure democracies. They don't really function in a democratic way. For instance, how can you have a real democracy if you have a media which is not impartial? Impartial media is the foundation of democracy, because people need to have normal and full access to all the information, to have a look at everything separately and say, okay, you know what, this is my opinion and this is my opinion. But if you're being brainwashed and guided and goaded into thinking a certain way, if pure lies are actually allowed on media without fact checking, and in the beginning we might say, oh, well, a mistake was made, something wasn't checked properly and it slipped through, we're sorry, we made a mistake. That is a different era. That's like decades ago. That has never happened since. All these media are owned by conglomerates, and these conglomerates all sing to the same tune. So I do not want to diminish the importance of this huge effect that we've seen now in these past months. I'm even still uh, struggling with it. I'm having a hard time understanding what I'm in now because I've been so active all these years, and it was always you're trying to call out something and nobody's hearing you. And now you write or you say something, and everybody goes, "Yeah, absolutely." So that is a very confusing thing for myself and perhaps for other Palestinians as well. Uh, but whether that will really result in anything real, well, we can have ideals. The real world still works on geopolitics and geopolitics, sorry, geopolitical elements are what decide the outcome of everything. It comes down to your army, your resources, your political friends, your allies. And in that sense, I don't think that the Westerners, the Western public, has at this moment a lot of influence on it. But I do think that this situation will wake them up about it and will say, I mean, because they believed this democracy idea. They believed that this, and that I was born and raised in the Netherlands. I lived for 40 years in that democracy. So I know what I'm talking about. I know what I've lived in, and I know how the citizen feels. And I think that this has shaken up more than we can see at this moment. I think that October 2023 was pivotal in many ways because I think many people have seen masks come off that they didn't even know were masks, didn't even suspect that they were masks. So I think change is coming. And the only thing is that we can't predict how things will coincide, how things will go. For instance, here in the Middle East, uh, the tensions are increasing every day. Nobody can deny it. It's really building up. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's tense. Everybody's waiting and seeing what's going to happen. And we don't know that when it happens, what that it will be. We can make 5 or 6 possible scenarios, but it's very hard to predict which one will come first, and then what will come next. It's actually we have the risk of a snowball effect, things leading to other things which we can't oversee. Also, not
And
forgetting that in sorry.
and and which can be disastrous for all of us, including people who haven't even given a moment's thought to the plight of a small nation called the Palestinians, and yet that may be the trigger for this avalanche of events, which may even sweep us all away. You say you were in London. Is that where you started the jazz?
In London.
Where did you say London?
No, no, no. Holland. I said Holland, the Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah, no, no.
Is that where
I've
you
never been.
started the jazz?
Well, that's where I was living for the first 4 decades of my life. So that's where I started everything. So yes, also that's where I started my music, of course.
Where can people see you play? What is it you play?
I play many instruments. I play guitar, piano, drums, and bass, but I also play Arabic instruments like oud and shibabi, which is a Palestinian flute. It's a very traditional
Very
thing,
interesting,
which
yeah.
is actually in danger of disappearing. So by playing it, I'm trying to also help keep it alive. I have a YouTube channel. I have a Facebook channel. I think I'm very easy to find. If you just type Doc Jazz, you'll find
Doc
a lot of
Jazz,
things there.
I'll be looking after the show to see you play. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the Mother of All Talk Shows.